Sensitivity and strength, a gift. I want to know how many people feel like sensitivity can be a strength and also a weakness, right? Most are trying to overcome those ideals that others are placing upon us that says that we need to be strong always and not sensitive at the same time. Many are lacking the understanding of what a certain kind of sensitivity can or cannot be, right? The empath moment is one of them. Many would say it is a strength to have that kind of ability to go in and to feel the pain of another, not knowing that it's not just the pain, but the ecstatic moments that we also have in our hearts. We have those highs and those lows, is what some would say. But most often, the sensitivities that we cherish are the ones that allow us to see ourselves as beautiful for all of our hearts. We have our moments of sin, is where some would say, for they're the ones that are now starting to caretake their hearts by saying, don't let yourself get too wrapped up in the empath moment, because it might mean that you get taken advantage of. What Brenda has brought through earlier has been of strength and dignity always. And it is not the same as saying, how is my sensitivity holding me back? Versus, how can I align with those empathic moments or those empaths who understand the nature of what it takes to get past the pain point of what we're talking about versus the strength in doing the work it takes to allow us to be special, perhaps, correct? How many people feel like when we talk about empathic vision, we're talking about a strength and a weakness, correct? It's only a weakness when you feel it as such. If you are feeling like my emotional guidance system, which is also a level of sensitive enlightenment, can enhance me with my compassionate regard for humanity. Others will say it's too strong for many to see it as a strength. They want to overdo it. They want to take it to the next level. And this is where Brenda starts to highlight the potential strengths in the sensitivity and look at it as a gift. And others are on board with that notion, saying we already understand it can be a gift as well. So how about we focus on it as a gift rather than those who are trying to demean us for having our values wrapped up in it, right? Many of us will utilize it all the time, saying there's something wrong with me, or why can't I be more emotional, right? How many people are not able to tap into their emotions enough, right? They've been guarded their whole life. Or, as Brenda would say, very rational. They're of the mind, right? She uses her whole body as an emotional guidance system for certain souls. And that means she can tap into the nature of who she is in the vision of, I'm so sensitive that other people are often aware of that kind of energy that I put forth. Okay? It doesn't mean that it's a strength or a weakness per se, but if we look at it as a strength, we can start to embody the good-natured moment of it, perhaps, and say that perhaps my emotions are my guidance stick, right? Sometimes our emotions guide us to those places that are not so pleasant. And so it's more about the nature of discovery of who we are. So each person has their own idea about what's a strength or not. But if we start looking at ourselves as determined to be a victim of it, then others around us will start to see it as such as well. It's only when you come to someone like me who has gone through the process of discernment as well. And that is the highlight moment. Many people are being told, don't do this or don't do that because it means you can't be around people. So you discern what is best for you. But it doesn't mean you have to identify with others. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to put it on full display. And that's where others are saying the emotional outburst can be a symptom of the sensitivity gone awry, correct? My emotions can sometimes lead me to a disastrous situation, is where some people go, because in essence, she's had those vulnerabilities revealed. And people then say to them, oh, I know how to handle her now. I know how to make her cry, or I know how to make her weak, right? Those souls who are protecting themselves from others around them, who have the emotional wherewithal to say, I'm going to hold my cards close so I don't have people bombarding me with their energy, right? That's what a lot of people are talking about. But it could be the nature of being able to read poetry or hear songs and laugh or cry or whatnot within the vision of it. Sensitivity can or cannot be totally defined just by the emotions. Brenda has physical sensitivities as well. I have sensitivity in the auditory vision of who I am as soul. So that's part of the nature of opening up to the nature of being sensitive to the awareness of other souls as well. Okay? And this is when people start to go, oh, okay. You see, it doesn't mean that those souls who lack compassion, right? When you are sensitive, you tend to go through a lot of those emotional outbursts with others, and those can be hard for us. Brenda knows very well how hard it can be to be around others who are emotional broadcasters. They scream, they yell, they get mad at the drop of a hat. And yet, we say to ourselves, it's okay, because in essence, we're all learning how to handle our hearts on the soul level as well. I'm sensitive to the critique. I will honor those who say, I get it. When people have an idea of who I'm supposed to be, I stick up for myself. Okay? I often do that for others. But what I won't do is say to myself, just because I can feel your emotional outburst doesn't mean I need to honor it as the way to be. That's another aspect of who I am. So sometimes our sensitivity is something that needs to be dialed back just a little bit. But the upside for it is that when we feel something is amiss, on this plane especially, we often can tune into it and see what it is that's going on, right? Some of us are able to see more, hear more, experience the wisdom more than others from various levels of love, because our hearts go out to those who normally wouldn't get the adoration and love that they thought that they were going to get. So Brenda has had her moments of sensitivity where she is lashed back. And what that means is she has been lashed at and she has lashed back. Okay. And so that's why this is an honest assessment of those who say, oh, you're too sensitive. She says, no, I'm sticking up for myself. I do have my moments where I'm reacting to others as well. It's not as much as when I was younger, right? I held myself in check for the most part. But when it comes to the nature of souls and soul vision, I won't let others demean me. I go in and I say what's going on to myself. And then I often figure out, why is the sensitivity so strong for me and not for those around me? Right? How many people grew up that way? Brenda was like that. How come people don't see what's going on? How come they don't understand? How come they're not picking up on the emotional atmosphere, or the fact that people are getting hurt and other people don't seem to understand that they're hurting people? Honestly, the nuances of the emotional regulation system. Okay, that's where some are, but it's not just about our emotions. Okay, our perceptions are spot on, dead on, the majority of the time. That's where I am. Okay, my perceptions of what's going on in a certain situation, if I am in the vision of I'm able to hear, see, or feel sometimes the energy, that's when you know. And that's a different kind of expression when you are in the idea of I'm bringing forth the energy of the moment. Others will say, as a channel, you can feel the energy of the love of all. And that's why when Brenda says that there are certain souls who are more difficult for her to handle, it's because her own sensitivity to the nature of who they were here still plays upon her mind. And when we cross over into another, they would say a veil of illusion, but it's not a veil of illusion. We are all there on the other side of the veil already, in most cases. Creating timelines and lives for us to explore in various places and times in which we have vibrated as well. Okay, it's more complicated than that, but Brenda knows that she's not here to discuss the multidimensional aspects. But this is part of her own sensitive moment, saying, I love who I am always, even when I'm upset with someone who isn't caretaking of my own emotional vibrations. Okay? I often have people who come in and they will try to take pot shots, right? No, they just want things the way they want them. And Brenda has always been of the, I often people please so that I didn't have to feel or experience the hurt or anger, but especially the anger of other people. That's the sensitivity to know who can and who can't handle my kind of wisdom as well. Many people who think that they want to go down this path of soul have not yet done enough of the internal guidance system work that it requires to do that kind of work without hurting either themselves or others. Brenda's recovered most of her soul in certain aspects of who she is, and the vibration of the internet is a rough one for a lot of us if we don't discern what is or isn't helpful or harmful for our hearts. Now, Brenda will go in and say, you know what, I'll land on my feet, square on my feet, no matter where I go. Because I know what's what with the majority of the people on this plane. Most people are struggling in one way or another with the nature of the love and acceptance of who they are. We all want to be loved, cherished, and adored by our souls, but we don't hear the love, cherishing, and adoration from everybody else. And that's why you aim for your own soul in many cases and say, I'm beautiful no matter what. And then others will look outside of themselves as well, trying to find those people who also feel that way about them. Okay, and that's why there's an alignment with many who say, we all love ourselves, we just have different experiences of each other. Some people have moments of freedom with her, and they love her when she's free just to be who she is, without trying to either trample upon the hearts of those who trampled upon her, right? She's had her moments of it, and the pain let them know that she cared. Her pain is a signal that she actually cares about you. Okay? If she didn't care about you, it would just rub right off of her. But when someone comes in and says there's something wrong with who you are, and she has to hear it from a loved one perhaps, it's not the most pleasant experience because it's the vibration in which they're vibrating. And many are saying they would rather be with someone else on the other side of the veil when they cross over. And Brenda's like, I'm fine with that. But what they don't understand is why she might not meet them there. She's not there to caretake the hearts of many who think they need to go visit another realm of another soul first before they come into the vision of love for themselves. That's a disaster waiting to happen for many. Because all of us here cherish and adore ourselves, whether we feel like it or not. Because we're here and we're souls vibrating in the beauty of who we are. Whether or not we have pleasant experiences or disastrous ones, makes no difference. And it means that that kind of understanding is what lifts you up in your vibration to be able to face the world head on and say, even when I'm crying and hurt, I know I'm here and I'm ready to sit there and play ball. Right? This is when people start to hear those ideas about she's ready to hit home runs for people because they themselves garner the strength from who she is. She takes you where you are wanted. I want my soul to guard me is where so many souls are. But in essence, it's not about guarding you. It's about lifting you up and pointing you in the right direction and saying, fly free, my friends. You're about to fly free when you go to your own soul. Because you hear you. You hear your loved ones, your friends, your family from a place of loving all of us. If you can reach that vibration. Because it's a vibrational plane that she's working with. And some people are still here, so she has to hear their souls in different ways, but in essence, they still vibrate in the beauty of who they are. Okay? So, she just heard that they're all there crying for love. Most souls think that their loved ones are waiting for them to be kind and gentle and loving and wise, and the mystery and mastery of who we are is where we are. She has a soul that's trying to play tricks on her mind in the background, by the way, because he's bringing through various ideas of who she's transfixed herself with before in the past, right? The transfixing is not about her being guarded. It's about the nature of loving herself and the other souls enough to say, we're not going to encourage people to go down this path of trying to create drama and trauma for who we are or for who others are. Okay, we accept them for who they look like, what they choose to wear, what they honor for themselves as love for another, what they portray themselves as, and even some of the behaviors in which others would, well, we would say, maneuver them into jails and prisons. Because many times people are given those second chances at love and said, yeah, Brenda is holding the hearts of many by not telling people how hard it can get when you're giving out wisdom and others who are lower than in their vibration, believe it or not, there is such a thing as vibrational shifting going on. And this is where we are with her in the public sphere. This is a transformational moment for many of us, looking at what are our issues that we're working on, not only for ourselves, but with each other. We love ourselves, we set ourselves free is where most go when they cross over. They don't feel like they need to be anybody else. They don't need to feel like they need to be in anybody else's arms or their hearts or whatever, right? It's still a creative process that happens when you go on the other side of the veil. You get it. We have those experiences that many will start to say, I grant you my wisdom. This is Michael Jackson in the background saying, I love you for who you are. You don't need to worry about your friends and family because there are plenty of souls that love you for who you are. Even for those of us who were basically, they keep saying the word castrated in the mind because he was falsely accused in many a mind for doing things that he knows that he did not do. And his soul is saying he's honest about the nature of how many children he had to hold up in order to be free from the visions that they themselves placed themselves in, right? No, that was where she was. I placed myself in a vision, not with his soul, but with another one on this plane. Okay. And my sensitivity around that area of my life allowed me to be a little bit more hesitant to bring forth the vision in past videos. And I opened myself up, allowing myself some of that vulnerability to show you guys that it's not all peaches you know, um, when we do this vision and we're opening up ourselves to those who don't even know us. But we do have the vision of love, and we do have the vision of faith. It's faith in who and what, perhaps, for certain souls. And others are saying, I have the faith and love of who I am in each moment and every breath. That's her soul. Her soul's with her, guiding her, loving her, cherishing her, keeping her grounded in many ways. Okay, and not wanting her to set herself free so much that she goes way out in left field, right? It's not about that. Or right field. So she has some political ideologies that people are not happy with as well, because it might mean she might have some access to information that others would be willing to get their hands on. We're not going to say kill for, because it's not about doing that vision. People will take that too serious. Okay, but those are phrases that some people are taking too serious related to those topics. And this is why we want to show people how sensitive people are to words and vibrations, and the honesty of looking in the camera and saying, I love who you are, whether or not you can adore me or not. I don't expect people to cherish me for who I am as much as to honor me for the soul vision that I bring through. You see, it doesn't mean that it's always easy. And kindness comes and goes for many of us when we get hit in the heart by our loved ones on certain planes, right? We've done our fair share in our lives. And so now it's time to pay the piper, right? No, it's about understanding ourselves, loving ourselves. And Brenda's a little picky when it comes to the nature of her friends. She's very discerning, and that's a strength for her, because she knows that there are certain places and people and time that she creates with that are beautiful for her, and others that are a little bit more difficult. Okay? Many would say that she's sensitive about her skin. She's sensitive about the touching of her soul. Okay, she can feel the vibrations around her. She can feel the love within her. Her energy is embodied. That's why most are coming through saying, what in the world does that mean? It means she's made it. It means she's made it to that level that many would love to go to. But you need to prepare yourself for the vision of honoring yourself first and foremost. Don't always assume that everyone else has it all figured out. No one has it all figured out for everybody, for the most part. We want people to understand that loving yourself is the first step. And what that means is acknowledging that you already do. Acknowledging that your experiences of who you are, while painful, might not be the best thing for certain souls. Other souls are saying they want to go somewhere where love is forgiveness. Love is kind. Love is cherishing everyone no matter who they are or where they are. And yet they want to have that experience for them, but they're not willing to do that vision for others very much. Brenda is more about, I understand and I know that you're a soul. My intention is not to hurt you, but I'm not here to be a doormat either. Okay? And others are more willing to just let it bounce off of them. Brenda's like, no, we're going to go and we're going to try for a bit of growth. Because she puts herself in the empowerment stage of life often. On how do we empower ourselves to do this vision in a way that is not harmful to ourselves, but enlightening. That's how I enlighten myself. I look within and I say, how can I find myself a higher vibration of who I am? And how can I address this issue from a higher vibration of who I am? How can I tap into the nature of who I am as soul, perhaps, and hear the soul guidance and wisdom come to me, explaining to me what's going on? Okay, and that's what we want for you guys to understand, that the sensitivities you have are not to be belittled. They can eventually be your beautiful boon. It's a gift. It's a treasure. It's a bounty. It's a pleasure. We want you to start to think about yourselves in a way where we can highlight the positive more often than the negative. And it can be a struggle for some of us if we're constantly hearing the negativity from others who are in our circles of friendships or family affairs, right? Or those acquaintances we might be surrounding ourselves with. And that's what we want people to understand is it's not always the easiest thing to do, and we honor your conditioning that says it's really hard. But with that, we want everyone to say sensitivity is just one vibration of love for each other. Because within the sensory data that we receive, we often fall in love. That's another view for who we are. So with that, I want to say thank you for watching. And as always, stay curious, wise, and soulful. Have a wonderful evening.